Hey everybody, it's Chris. I hope you all are doing well. I just came back from a weekend trip to Fayetteville, Arkansas, where I went to CultureCon. It was a convention that was hosted by Counterculture DIY. That's the company that I use resin from. And I really had a fantastic time and really inspired me to do some things and kind of got me out of my box a little bit. But tonight I am doing a project. We're doing a little party for someone, and I thought it would be nice to have vases of flowers on the tables for part of the centerpieces, but I'm trying to do it in a thrifty, recycling way. So I stopped at Salvation Army on the way home tonight, and I bought some clear vases. These are 3 of the shapes that I have, and so I've got them placed on plastic cups right now. And I apologize, this video might be a little bit weird because I'm trying to get as close of a picture as I can, or I have my camera as close as I can, so that I'm hoping that you can see the paint like actually come down the sides. But we are going to paint these vases so that they're all matching by the time we're done. So I've got a cookie sheet set up here with plastic so that it will catch my paint, and then I can use that for another project because I think the paint will be really pretty because I'm using champagne gold. This is the champagne gold that is from Hobby Lobby that I use, the Deco Art, excuse me. Champagne gold, and then my other color is a Liquitex light portrait pink. So I'm kind of going for like a gold and a pink and a navy theme. And I put just a splash of, I think I threw it away actually because it's almost gone. I put just a splash of light magenta in it because I wanted it to be just a tiny bit pink versus like a really light color. So we'll see. I don't think we can tell really from the bottle how pink it's going to be, but I want to make sure that I've got this at an angle that you guys are going to be able to see. So I am going to try to kind of move my tray a little bit depending on which one I'm pouring, so hopefully you'll be able to see them. And then I also have some white. These have all been mixed with my pouring medium, and my pouring medium recipe, gosh, let's see if I can remember. It's been a while since I've told you. 2 cups of strained Floetrol, a 1/2 cup of Glue-All, and a 1/4 cup of pouring medium, I think is the recipe. And then I just mix it with my paints, probably a 1-to-3 ratio, 1 part paint, 2 to 3 parts of the pouring medium. So I just kind of pour until I have a consistency that I like. So I've got the paints all ready to go in my bottles, and I have done this before where I have actually poured into a cup, kind of like a dirty cup pour, and done it that way, but I don't love my results. And so I feel like sometimes if I just pour directly from the bottles, I feel like I can kind of control it a little bit more, and it allows me to kind of put color where I want. And if I have one area that's not really flowing very well, I can concentrate on pouring paint in that area. So what I'm planning to do with these is pour them tonight, and then to finish them off, I'm just going to put a couple of coats of clear gloss spray on them, and I think that's going to be good enough. Like I said, they're just going to hold flowers, and so I think this will work out pretty well. So I've got the light portrait pink. I think that's what we'll start with. So I'm going to start on this little guy right here. And I will say that my paints are mixed a little bit thicker. In fact, I think we're just going to kind of start on all 3 of them. These are just sitting up on clear plastic cups. And then next we're going to put in some of this gold. And then eventually it'll start flowing over the sides. And I did a little bit of white. I think a little bit of white will be good because hopefully that will give us kind of some effects in the paint. So this will kind of help get it moving over the sides. And then we'll continue to add more paint to the tops. And I find that if I kind of move around in circles and squiggly lines, then that kind of gives me a different effect and helps the paint to kind of mix together. Now, I will say right now I have way too much white because I just kind of wanted a little bit of an accent of white just for the effect. I don't necessarily want a lot of white showing, so. But that's kind of the beauty of this, of doing it this way, is that I don't have to have a lot of white showing if I don't want. I can, you know, add more gold, add more of the portrait pink to it. And then I'm just going to continue to pour my paints on here. I will say this guy is looking pretty good. The other thing too, that if you can see on the sides, like down in here, see how I don't have any paint in this area, then I can kind of concentrate on making sure that my paint starts to flow in that area as well when I add my paints to the top. So you just kind of continue on adding paint until the entire surface is covered. I'll say my gold, I think, is a little bit thinner than what my pink is. And then we'll add a little bit more white. But just keep in mind that all of this paint is going to move down the sides, and it's not going to look exactly like this when you're finished. Like, it continues to change as you add more paints in. And I think too, like this little guy here, I wasn't sure with the little scalloped edge that it had. I was like, gosh, I'm not sure how this will turn out, but we'll give it a go and see what happens. So sometimes you just kind of have to help it along. If you've got an area that's not looking really great, you just go back and add some more paints in, and it all works out in the end. The other thing that I'll do too as I get towards the end is I'll kind of tip these so that I don't have a big pool of paint on the bottom of it. You want to make sure that that paint is also poured over the sides too, so that you don't have a lot of paint that's still sitting there. Got a big chunk right there. There we go. I think the colors are pretty. I don't know, it's almost kind of more of like a peachy color, and I did want it to be a little bit more pink, but we'll see what we get here. The other thing sometimes that I've done too is, this one is working out really nice, but on these other ones where it doesn't seem to be covering as well, sometimes I'll kind of just pour some white paint in the areas where it needs a little bit of help, and that kind of helps the paint to track down the sides as well. So you just kind of have to be patient with it, and once you get the paint flowing over all of the areas though, it does cover nicely, and it kind of tends to hug the curves and just flow down nicely for you too. So sometimes you got to work with it a little bit, but just continue to work, and you'll see that you'll get some really cool designs coming through on the paint, and hopefully it'll be a really beautiful project when it's done. My whole idea with this was that, you know, I couldn't find all of the vases to match, but that was okay with me because I think this is kind of a cool idea to mix and match. And like I said, it's a recycling thing, and at the end of the day, they'll all look the same and they'll all be pretty. They'll all have the same colors and just some different shapes. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue to add some more color and more paint to these, and then I'll show you the end result. There's more purple than pink on it. He went and ruined it. All right, everybody, I have finished pouring the paint over the sides. I did take my straw and kind of blow the paint down along the sides of the vases. And you can see that I did get some fun little effects in the paint. I did add a little bit of Caput Mortem Violet, I believe it's called. And that's that kind of like deeper pink that you're seeing, and I think that kind of gave it just a little bit more pizzazz. Sorry for the messy background there, but I think those are really pretty colors together. Now I do know that with my gold it looks kind of icky right now. Not really icky, but it's just not like super apparent that it's in there. And then you can also see the tops of them and see some of the cells that I have there. So I'm going to move these over to the side. I'm going to take this paint that I have down here. And I think what I found was once my paint started to cover the glass, it definitely started to flow better. So I'm going to take that paint that's on my tray and I'm going to kind of use that to start the process on the other 3 that I have to paint. So that'll help them to cover much quicker. So this is the vases. So here's 3 of the vases of the, I guess I just have 5 that I'm painting. Like I said, these will dry for, I'll probably try to let them dry until Wednesday. It's Monday now. And then they will just get a coat of the gloss varnish. Probably do a couple of coats of those and they should be good to go. I will take a toothpick and run around the bottoms of the vases, see where I have some drips there. And I'll kind of swipe those away so that I don't have a problem with that. But I think these are going to really be pretty on be very pretty on the centerpieces. I wish my lighting is kind of weird right now, but I'll take some pictures of close-ups of them and put them at the end of the video so you can see them. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Hopefully you enjoyed this. I hope I kind of gave you a little bit of inspiration on something that you might be doing in the future, that you can take some garage sale or Salvation Army or Goodwill purchases and turn them into all matching pieces and just kind of add that personal touch to your next affair. Thanks so much for watching today, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.